Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here.
And Blue Dragon 5.
And tonight we pay tribute to the loss of a great icon, of an American hero. You know, not the loss in death, but the loss in terms of he's going out, folks. He's gone. The horse has left the building, and tonight we're paying respects to that horse and the finale of Bojack Horseman, the series finale, season 6B. We're going to eulogize the show, if you will, because Bojack might have spoiler alert. You know, spoilers abound here, people. Be careful. Bojack might have survived the series, Dragon, but the series is gone. And God damn it, we are here to do a free churro style eulogy, isn't that right?
Yeah.
All right, so Dragon, I hope you have your metaphors and childhood symbolism, and all your, I hope you have a traumatic deathbed story ready to go. All right. In all seriousness, folks, BoJack Horseman has come to an end. Season 6B, as I like to call it. Dragon, man, this show is just it stuck with me. I mean, as you know, Dragon, I had a ton of anxiety going into the season, as did a lot of people. I really think that final note that season 6A left out on, the whole "who is he," is going to be remembered as like one of the most gut-wrenching cliffhangers in TV history, honestly. And man, this season doesn't disappoint, man. This is a roller coaster. It really is. I mean, this goes from oh God, I don't even I don't even want to talk about it, Dragon. I just want to get into the episodes. I'm just basically Dragon season 6 as a whole. I think I can safely say it's not the most ambitious season from a thematic point of view. I think that would probably have to go to season 4, if I the Sugarman season with Beatrice. I think I think that was probably the most rich thematically out of any season, just from top to bottom. But I think this one is just the most compelling, Dragon. This one is like the most Breaking Bad like. I mean, I remember one of the seasons we had that poster that was like, Walter White, Tony Soprano, BoJack Horseman, and Dragon. Honestly, season 6, just looking at it as a whole, it realizes that potential, man. Because season 6, just as a whole, is just a white knuckle roller coaster of emotion, man. And every season of BoJack is like that. But this season in particular, the stakes are so high. There's such high highs for BoJack and such low lows, and everything in between. And the ending I just find to be just very, very profound. And honestly, Dragon, is a man moving into my 30s. I'm going to be 30 in like 10 months, and I'm terrified. This gives me a little bit of closure, Dragon. It really does. This is kind of like, much like how there's certain shows where it's like, this is the end of my childhood. Dragon, BoJack Horseman is kind of like, this is the end of my 20s. This is the end of me being a young adult. Like, I have to move into adulthood now. Dragon, I feel like this is another, like, coming of age for me, if you will. This whole show, this whole experience, it's very profound for me.
I guess more like coming of middle age, I guess, or something.
No, don't say middle age. Fuck you. We don't use those words on this podcast. I am a spry 30.
Well, technically, you're a spry 29, but.
All right. Technically. Anyways.
Oh, God.
Dragon, what's your thoughts on BoJack Horseman Season 6B?
Well, all right, so I feel... Sorry about that. I was trying to think.
I've got 10 more years, mister. 10 more years!
Well, sure, whatever you say. I'm just saying we're using BoJack as your analogy. BoJack's a little bit more for middle age than what you're kind of using it. So
all right.
Anyway, crises aside, Okay, so seriously, BoJack parts. I always feel like 6B is really weird by being as accurate, but season 6 part 2.
Oh.
So we really continue to explore the interesting questions posed at the end of the first half, which is this is really something you and I we had a real field day with when we talked about the first half, because I remember basically I kind of threw out here, and then you came with a far better theory as to how things could end. We're gonna get to how
Oh
close
boy.
we linked
Oh
up with
boy.
things, but basically going to the next season, I honestly as it was unfolding, I kind of referred back to kind of what I was thinking going into the season, where you know the really profound thing about the last season of BoJack is it really, even a little bit of five, basically five onward, 5 and 6 combined. Honestly, when BoJack as a series as a whole, I feel the back half, BoJack got better each season, and basically 4 through 6 are kind of that's the big stride of BoJack as a series. Seasons 4, 5, and 6, those really ironclad seasons.
Oh.
Don't get me wrong, you have your highlights within the other seasons, of course, like the end of season 3. I mean, I say more, but you see what I'm getting at. My point is,
Yeah.
so with the second half, I think we're taking Hollywood now, the climate of Hollywood now, or I guess Hollywoo or Hollywoob. We're going to get to that later. You take Hollywood now, and kind of the accountability factor of a little bit of the call out culture, a little bit of the Me Too, all this sort of stuff that we're kind of dealing with now in the industry. And I think it's reflected in it's been reflected in the later seasons of this show really appropriately. And we really put it to the test in this season and this half with the big questions. As we tackle the big questions, in is this is the climate of Hollywood now? Is it a movement where we just want revenge and punishment, or do we want accountability and reform? Like, is that what we want? That's kind of the questions kind of posed to BoJack going into the last season and going into that kind of a big cliffhanger of like what was his name? What's the line again? Is it?
Who is he?
Who is he?
Who
Sorry,
is
yes.
he?
Who is he?
You got to repeat it, Dragon. You got to repeat it. Who is he?
Who is he?
Who is he?
Who is he?
Oh God.
Right. So the point being, so what I guess I'm saying, I guess what I'm saying here is that we're kind of it's a question of do we want is there any hope for BoJack? It's like the show is raising the question around BoJack's fate going into this last half here, this last kind of section of is his fate redemption? Is it death? Or is it something else entirely? That's kind of the question we were kind of left with and kind of the half there. And we're kind of measuring BoJack by kind of the industry of today and saying, how would it end up for somebody? What if we liked the guy who had a complicated past? Or at least whether we liked him or not, what if we invested in a guy for God knows how many seasons, who definitely had a lot of complication in his past and his present, and we get into the big questions what's this guy's fate going to be at the end of the day after we kind of explore him and kind of we see kind of Hollywood evolve with the times and oh God, does he have any hope, or is he just kind of slated to become another tragedy within the Hollywood system? It's very fascinating stuff, and I feel we didn't drop the ball going to the second half. It kind of lived up to tackling those questions in a really big and effective way. It definitely threw you for a loop because it kept me guessing towards the end. I'll say that much as to where the show was going.
Oh God, yes.
Because I thought it was going to go my way, then I thought it was going to go your far better way that you pitched. That's the thing. We'll get there. So the second half, basically, amazingly, it brings brings closure and continuity full circle to the series in really interesting ways, and that's BoJack Part B of season 6. Let's call it. Okay.
All right, Dragon. I have one more thing to show you that really highlights my my whatever you want to call it crisis. All right, I'm only going to. I'm only going to put it on screen for a few seconds for copyright reasons. You ready? You ready? I don't think you're ready.
I'm not ready, but go on.
Yeah, that's me. That's me in 10 months, Dragon. That's my future.
Well, of all the podcasts you're going to bum everyone out on, I would probably have to be BoJack, given what.
Oh, you think? Yeah, I was going to say, believe me, yeah. Dragon. I've got theories that are going to bum you out. All right. So just you wait, sir. Just you wait.
Well, at least it's actually appropriately themed for a change. So.
All right.
Okay, so let's just basically, folks, we're just going to go through the episodes and kind of talk about them. So we're going to kind of go over the highlights of the episodes, kind of the thematic crux and all that sort of stuff. So we're starting with episode 9, or well, even one of it's really the weird half and half breakdown always bothers me, especially Netflix is really subscribing to it these days. Of course, Breaking Bad really top.
Let's just do one. Let's just do 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, let's just keep it simple.
All right, fine.
For the folks playing along at home, it's like, it's, basically it's like, episode 9, 10, 11, 12. But just for us, it's I don't know. I just feel like it's gonna be more simple to just do it this way.
All right, fine. Okay, so the intermediate scene study with Bojack Horseman. So of course, this one essentially is kind of Bojack Horseman's Kosminski method. That's kind of the shorthand description of this one.
Yeah, this one was it was a very interesting episode. It's kind of a calm before the storm, if you will. That's how I describe this episode. So to me, I was almost kind of like, god damn it, we don't get to see the direct resolution of the who is he. We only kind of get to see the aftermath, and a lot of that is going to be at play with Hollyhock not really knowing the finer details of her. So of course, the main crux is Bojack trying to get, trying to bond with Hollyhock and her distancing herself from him, while at the same time Bojack is flourishing with his students, and this is kind of like a high of highs for his story. This is, I think, probably the happiest that Bojack is ever going to get in his life.
Yeah, there's a lot to take away from this one. So I guess for starters of the Hollyhock of it also, again, Hollyhock, very interesting. She's armed with information that we, the audience, know, but Bojack doesn't. And a big thematic crux of Bojack's character that we really see put to the test this season is truth. The operative theme for Bojack's character is truth. Now, the opening of this episode is really cool, where we have the opening of Bojack rehearsing for his first day as Professor Horseman in kind of his new sober life. Again, the high of highs kind of moment for Bojack, like the clean high of highs, not the other high of highs, not the kind of the drug. That's my point. Point is, like acting. Of course, his big sell line in the rehearsals, like acting is leaving everything behind and becoming something new, which essentially is the creed that Bojack is trying to live by right now. He's Bojack's new definition of himself, where again he's leaving behind the old stuff. He's leaving behind Holly Woo and all that sort of stuff, and he's going forward kind of sober Bojack, gray-haired Bojack with dignity. And we have the Sharpie bit. Now the Sharpie, I'm gonna go heady on you here. Okay, the Sharpie bit. Of course, very funny. Just writes Professor Horseman on the board, and of course he can't be taken back. And of course there is it's a mistake that can't be taken back. Of course, there's some similarities there. Of course, he was writing his name in Sharpie and not like an erasable marker, but also it's black ink, which of course black ink, or more accurate, on. That's going to be very important. So like a little hint of foreshadow there.
Ooh, all right. I see what you're saying. That's what
I'm saying. It's kind of nice. Again, it's a very casual like mistake that he makes, but again, it's kind of symbolic. And so again, truth as Bojack's theme here. Again, like think about this. What makes Bojack such an effective teacher in the acting class is that Bojack, the thing we know about him as a character, the wonderful thing we love about him as a character, almost the Larry David quality of Bojack to an extent, is the man is very truthful in both negative. It has ill-timed truth, but truth all the same, where he'll like call out the Navy SEAL on the muffins, where you think you had dibs? You didn't have dibs, you just left it there. Again, he hits people with truth bombs all the time, and usually just kind of rants about things with truth. But again, in an acting setting, he basically, his notes are all about using the truth as like, hey guys, why don't you try playing the scene a little bit more authentically? Why don't you just play it a little bit? Again, he's giving them truth and like how you can alter the scene and make it better. Basically, his truth is about is kind of translated into giving good feedback, which makes him a great teacher, which is really interesting.
Yeah. I really like the runner of the students going into the AA meeting and how that eventually like winds up.
It's funny. I think the payoff of that's funny, but I don't care for that gag though. Personally, I didn't care for like they keep crashing the AA meeting. Just there's no repercussions. There's just like no like just keep. I don't know. I wasn't crazy about that one. Plus, that's a gag. It's just basically, and then the third. It's like the rule of threes in kind of comedy almost. Or then the third.
I mostly do like the payoff, Dragon. I will admit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The payoff is funny, but it's just still. It's like it's really disrespectful to the AA meetings. I don't want to just get all like, he's offended because the AA meetings got this. But no, it's the fact that it meant a lot to Bojack. It's like they're not calling him out on anything. It's just that. Plus, it didn't reflect well on the acting student, especially that Whitfield guy. I will. All that said, though, him showing up in the little sailor suit is quite funny, though. But well, actually, less sailor, a little bit more Lord Fauntleroy kind of outfit is quite stupid, but it's funny. All right.
Now the acting class in general, I feel like, is a little bit of a mixed bag, characterization wise.
It's no Kosminski method, there's no, or Barry.
Well,
Barry be the better.
Barry.
That's yeah, you're right. Barry's the far better, I mean, Darcy Carden's in Barry, man. Everybody loves her from The Good Place, man. Anyway, sorry. Getting back on points. Of course, instantly already, kind of the age-old thing I'm never going to be able to shake, even in the last half of season. Mr. Peanut Butter's already wearing thin on me for the start.
Oh no! Oh God! Really?
I'll admit it's not as
funny,
bad.
Dragon? You know what's funny? I thought this would be the season that turns Mr. Peanut Butter around for you.
I will admit he didn't bug me as much as he probably did in the first half, or just like in old season 5. He didn't turn me off as much. I'm just saying he was already starting to wear.
I like where we end up with him.
Yeah, it's not perfect, but yeah, I mean, I'm saying it's not like as egregious, but still, it's not great, but anyway. Point being, Mr. Peanut Butter he's got the whole pickles.
You just got a bias.
I do. I will fully admit, yes, I have a bias. Mr. Peanut Butter. I didn't like him from day one. I've been working against it from the very beginning, and I've come to this is the most I'm ever going to like him. I'll give you that much. It's the most I'm ever going to like him, but still not saying much, regardless. Off my peanut butter kind of tirade here. So, no, the whole pickles and Joey Pogo affair, though, it feels like it's kind of a leftover from the first half. We didn't have the awesome payoff of like where you thought it was going. It was going to be like this whole like Bojack might have had to slept with pickles, which would have been really dark, but we didn't.
Oh God, yeah, right. Jesus Christ!
It ended up being like the Hillary Swank playing her Justin Bieber parody. It's pretty much all we had there. Like, hey, more Joey Pogo shenanigans, right? Because that was a thing with all the stupid pickles affair. So we're just we're stuck with that. So we're just kind of like crossing that off the list of things to wrap up. Where everything else is wrapped up really well. So we're stuck with we got to wrap up Peanut Butter before we get them to the place we need to be at the last episode. So. All right.
I mean, that being said, I'm glad that Pickles didn't end up getting hurt by Peanut Butter in any way, because I was definitely sympathetic towards her.
Yeah, sure. Especially in the first half of this season with that whole the kind of the bottle episode within the house. Yeah, sure.
Right. Oh my God, and that is one of the strongest episodes of the first half.
That is, I mean, I will never say really a kind word about Mr. Peanut Butter, but that episode is really good. Anywho, so yes. Oh, of course, with Hollyhock, with all that, of course, we have the scary parallel of Bojack, hanging around, basically hanging around Hollyhock's life, much like his life with the kids in New Mexico. Basically, again, the fact that that's the pattern repeating itself. It's Bojack kind of like hanging around a college campus, which now with her in the know from where we left off with her, now she's in the know, and that's why she's creating kind of this rift of polite distance, let's call it. She's not calling him out on that. She's not but again, she's really dodgy on it. Again, she's seeing the parallels of, oh God, he's hanging around me and my friends now. That makes me feel a little uncomfortable, which, I don't blame her. I do love Bojack learning. I love the Bojack learning rugby montage. I love the classic, the high school band music. He's getting ready. He's hitting the books. It's like Bojack studying for the big test, like easy money style. Well, no, not easy money, like back to school style with Rodney Dangerfield.
Oh,
I like the act break transitions too in the first episode. Those are nice.
Yeah.
And Todd's Marshmallow Misadventure. Oh my God, I love the Marshmallow Misadventure.
Oh my God, I love how that was such a good Ryan Johnson-esque subversion of expectations.
No, seriously, what's so great about
Go ahead.
No, here's the thing. What's so great about the subversion is that it's like we're grounding the absurdity for a change. It kind of sets the tone for this season with Todd's stuff. We think Todd's gonna run the college now. It's like, oh God, it's like Todd's gonna
exactly
run the college with a Willy Wonka-esque figure. But okay, no, it's just the guy. It's just grounded as it's gonna get with Todd. Where no, he was just using LSD for a test somewhere. He thinks he's like a Willy Wonka. College. Not the case at all. And again, we're showing that Todd is gonna be growing up this half season in a big way. Not hugely. He's still going to be Todd, but he's going to be a Todd that's not going to be going as off the rails as we've gone in season 1 or when he becomes the owner of a network in 2 seasons ago or season and a half ago.
Right.
Let's see. I love how we call out the multiple rehabs from the first half of the season with the Gaz, Bojack's great accountant. Because again, he went to remember, it's $100,000 rehab, and he went there at least 6 times.
Yeah.
But again, Hollywood is calling, and Princess Carolyn, the big thing Hollywood, again, it's almost like the Godfather 3, they're pulling every time I'm out, they pull me back in. It's kind of that effect with Bojack and Hollywood.
The only good line from the Godfather 3.
Yeah. Anyway, so Princess Carolyn, she drops by again, poaching some acting students within that Stan kid. But that's the thing. I love the just to put into play, just transition to the next one here. I love the crossover setup. I love how all of our stories are about to kind of interlock within the next 2 episodes, essentially. And of course, it all comes down with I love the running literal musical thing where whenever we have bad stuff happen to Bojack, we hear the piano keys being hit dramatically, and
the score throughout the season is great. It's very on point.
Because of course we hear he gets a phone call and we hear the bang, and it's Charlotte. The Charlotte call.
Oh God, Dragon! Okay, you know what? Dragon? I take back the whole Hollyhock being the most gut-wrenching cliffhanger of Bojack Horseman. Because as soon as I saw Charlotte's name on that phone, I was just like, "Oh dear fucking Christ! Here we go."
The age-old thing of storytelling.
Yeah,
we gotta set him back with the phone call at the end. Everything's going great for Bojack. His students are performing well, Kosminski style, and everything's going great. But again, basically the big theory in Bojack for this episode is you can't leave it behind. Your acting credo about leaving everything behind and doing something new, you can't leave it all behind. And Charlotte's gonna come a calling, and you're gonna have an anxiety attack, which is gonna bring us to episode 2.
All right. So good damage. This is another Diane Dragon. I feel like Diane has a running thing going on of her having episode 2s, because she had the second episode of season 6 part 1 and season 6 part 2.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's been a bunch of other times as well.
I think in season 5 we had the Vietnam episode too. So
yeah.
So of course, good damage. By the way, from one of our favorite shows that explored this, Kintsugi.
Oh God, yeah.
The whole salad bowl thing. We brought back Kintsugi.
I know. I was aware. Aware.
Anyway,
Dragon, I this episode, look, the only thing about this episode is I feel like it's a little bit of I want to see what's going on with Bojack. It's a little bit of a cock tease in that regard.
But the overlap's quite nice.
It is. And I think on its own right, I really like how just through this one season, they really build up Guy to be the ultimate end game for Diane. You know what I mean? This guy is pretty much everything she's tried to find in someone.
You know what's funny?
And what?
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to undercut you there, but
no, it's fine. Go ahead.
You have Guy. His whole family's names. It's Guy. His son is called Sonny, and his ex-wife is called Lady. Seriously.
Oh God.
Guy, Lady, Sonny.
I love that. But yeah, so I love the counterbalance between, as we see here with the 2 animation styles. I really like the mall detective that Diane ends up writing. I think that's a great way for her to kind of spread her wings as a writer without abandoning her dreams. I really thought that was a great resolution for the writing thing, but at the same time, you really got to feel her struggles with the writing. It almost kind of called back memories of the procrastination episode of SpongeBob Dragon.
Oh yeah. Remember, we also have a drug-fueled version of procrastination with Bojack.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Right, but so I'm with you though. I love the Ivy Tran mole detective stuff. I thought that was great. And basically the idea is that Ivy Tran is kind of the idealistic kind of Kintsugi version of Diane's trauma and her damage. She's the example of good damage. Diana is kind of Diane is the version of bad damage.
Yeah.
Literally, you kind of see in the two styles there. But of course, I love it. We have like all the different kind of looks within the kind of the more scribbly style, including a very Peanuts looking version. Again, it's been hysterical. I remember when we called back that one time, we saw Diane as like literally like Lucy in the therapy stand. It's hysterical. So I love that. It's kind of a fun callback to that. But now she's writing like Schroeder, like as if it was like Schroeder on a typewriter. But Diane as a character, she continues to parallel the Bojack story, and especially with the truth theme, is that she really internalizes her own truth through her writing in this episode. She's really trying to, she's reaching backwards where Bojack is trying to move forward in his new path, and she's reaching backwards, essentially trying to tell her life story in a book, and of course reaching back to, again, oddly enough, like Bojack, had a very emotionally abusive parent in her father. Bojack had that not only in his father, but his mother too. But let's just stick with the father for the parallel. But,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, of course, also antidepressant Diane. We got a montage of antidepressant Diane.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, until I rewatched the first half, I completely forgot. Until I was rewatching literally up until like the stroke of midnight or midnight comparatively for when the new season dropped. I forgot Diane put on weight because of the antidepressants.
Yeah, and I'm glad that they stuck with that trick, and I think that's a really realistic. It just goes to show the character development and change.
Yeah.
Right. Other than that, honestly, Dragon, there's not a whole ton to say about this episode. Or is there any side stuff going on with like Todd and Princess Carolyn in this episode?
Yes. So Paige. So we got to talk. So I'm still not crazy about Paige Sinclair and the Max. They said the reporters on the case.
Okay, this is gonna be a points for subjectivity, Steven thing. All right. I honestly, to me, I dug this whole thing. First of all, I do think it's really suspenseful. It's like we know that they got to Penny, but we didn't see the how and when. So it's like it is just kind of like more gut wrenching. Like, okay, basically, Dragon. Ever since season 2, every time that Sherlyn and Penny are involved in the story, it's just a knife in the chest, and I feel like the writers have been using that against us for years in such great ways. And this is like, I don't know, I just really love Max and Paige just kind of like tap dancing all over it. But by the same point, I don't know, I find their chemistry really amusing. I love the back and forth. I love the how old school it is. Maybe it's just because I'm a fan of like old school kind of like, detective movies and stuff like that with this kind of like film noir style banter, but I really thought it was fun.
Well, Tiki,
and
look,
I really like the resolution, with Max ending up heartbroken because he's the one to finally admit the sexual tension in the room, and she and I love the whole like, oh Max, everyone loves me. I'm Paige Sinclair. All that worked. I don't know, for me, subjectivity.
Well, look, I mean, again, I'd like this, like the whole like on the front page type-esque, kind of stuff that you're kind of circling around there. I like that too. Just I think it's a lot of place here with this. I don't know. And I feel what we're getting into with the next one. I feel there was a missed opportunity with them. I think might have saved them for me. That didn't happen. But we'll get there. Okay. Last thing. So again, on the whole Diane story here is that Diane again, basically her big dilemma. I felt really relatable. Is that her big dilemma is that she's really spiraling once again. Like, of course, she gets the Ivy Tran book kind of in the works when she wants to tell kind of this. Basically she's trying to force catharsis with kind of like the tell-all, bad, the bad damage story. And essentially, it's kind of this really relatable thing of she's kind of trying to avoid the truth and the possibility that she could have been on this healing Ivy Tran Kinsuki path long ago. Had she just like kind of essentially just kind of gone. Had she just gone that route instead of just kind of like basically, kind of like she has to prove something to herself that I can't live knowing the possibility that I could have been happy all this time, which is kind of interesting. And again, kind of parallels Bojack's whole he could have gone to rehab seasons ago and perhaps been on the healing path sooner. So that's kind of interesting. I like that. Also, this Rebecca Ferguson. Remember this pitch? Like if Rebecca Ferguson, oh god, so ridiculous. Of all the Princess Carolyn projects, Tiki, I think the most ridiculous yet funny one that they pitched was Rebecca Ferguson. I think it was her as the ticket taker in the Batman origin.
Oh my god! Right,
Oh
right.
god, such a of all the funny pitches, man.
Hey man, Rebecca Ferguson was really good in Doctor Sleep.
I don't doubt it. I'm just saying, like, of all the roles for Rebecca Ferguson, it's
Right.
just, oh god. Okay, anyway,
All
so
right.
moving on then.
Okay, episode 3. This is one of my favorites. Sunk cost and all that.
Or a little Better Call Saul with the sunk cost.
Exactly. Dragon, this right here, this image is probably one of my top 5 most memorable images from the last 8 episodes. I mean, it really just sticks with me.
I love the plotting of this one. Again, this is kind of the big link up within our 3 episodes. We saw everything fall into place in the episode before this, and now this one we're picking up where Bojack passed out. And essentially, I love how Bojack in crisis, had his friends to turn to. He's able to turn to his friends here, and they kind of hunkered down. They kind of like, okay, let's do some damage control here, man. Let's put it all on a whiteboard. Let's figure out what Bojack has done this time. Let's help him out. But I love we put it all on the board, man. Like him steal the whole muffin thing with the Navy SEAL. Which, by the way, I don't mean to keep going back to the muffin, but it's like out of all the stuff that Bojack's done the whole series, I gotta be honest, I've been on his side with the muffin thing. I've never not been on his side with the whole muffin thing. Sue me, because again, that Navy SEAL, he did not have dibs on those muffins. The most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Sorry. Moving on, but like leaving Todd in prison, like sneezing on Marissa Tomei, all that stuff. It's all on the board.
Yeah.
It's quite fun. Like a lot of great callbacks, I guess.
The interesting thing about this episode, to me, is the back and forth dynamic with Bojack and Princess Carolyn, where Diane clearly knows that Bojack is toxic at this point. Todd does as well, of course, and Todd is known probably longer than any of these people about Bojack's toxicity. But with Princess Carolyn, it's like on one hand, Dragon, it's like a morality play. It's like on one hand, you're like, all right, way to go, Princess Carolyn, you kick ass. It's like get our hero out of trouble. But on the other hand, you're like, all you want is for Princess Carolyn to be happy. You know what I mean? And I feel like the writers have set Princess Carolyn up to be the most sympathetic character of the show very, very well. Princess Carolyn is the most, I would say, she is the most like good character of the show, Dragon, just more, morally speaking. So in that regard, just seeing her go to bat so heavily for Bojack, even though we know that Bojack is at fault, and seeing her try and cover up Bojack, it's hard to watch. But by the same token, it's also sort of like, all right, she's going to get our hero out of it because she kicks ass at her job. So what do you think of that, Dragon? What do you think of that moral conundrum? Because I definitely had it.
Princess Carolyn's always been an interesting character because, again, while at the same time we love her, we want her to end up happy at the end of the day. Absolutely. The interesting thing about Princess Carolyn, though, is that she's also kind of a representation of the business in both bad and also some good ways. I mean, bad in the sense of like she's always like she's if basically Bojack's biggest character flaw is that he kept being called in by the siren song of Hollywood and all the stuff, and basically all the stuff that happens in the seasons that we see. I mean, horsing around notwithstanding, just him with the age and getting him all these roles, like the Filbert of it all, like Secretariat Filbert. She got him all of that, so she's kind of she kind of like directs him into all this.
Her and Herb.
That's what I'm saying. Herb was more for horsing around, sure, but I'm saying it's like for all the other projects that followed, you have
right,
setting up the dominoes.
Sure, yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. So Prince Carolyn is culpable, and like she set up kind of the dominoes that he knocked down that kind of triggered all these kind of these horrible after effects and everything that kind of followed there for the most part. And that's the thing. Like Prince Carolyn, she's bailing him out here, which is maybe not what he needs. But I love the scene towards the end of this where basically she, like Bojack's asking, why are you doing this for me? Or Bojack's contemplating, just kind of going forward, just kind of taking his lumps. And Princess Carolyn, she's still sticking up for him because 25 years, maybe not in the romantic sense, but she still loves the guy. Like Bojack, hired her. Like I believe her first client was Bojack Horseman. Being the idea, and that whole thing right there. Like, again, that's the sunk cost of the episode. They together as a pairing are a sunk cost, even though Bojack's always down. She's got to be there for him, man, because again, they're just kind of intrinsically linked. And that's the thing. She bounces back far better than Bojack does, but still, again, she's culpable and kind of like why Bojack's going to be able to kind of bounce back. And Diane is kind of sick of that. Diane is sickened by, oh God, she sees this as Princess Carolyn. She kind of calls her out on this as well, saying, hey, you you're not preparing him for a fall at all here. You're going to go on like there's going to be no fallout from this at all, which again is going to be really bad for Bojack, not being prepared for the fallout, but also just not hearing logic here, not taking his lumps. And we have this wonderful moment of change. This is the thing I really love. Don't get me wrong, this framing is perfect, but still, the thing that kills me, a big dagger in the heart of the story in the best sense, is Bojack gets the call from Sinclair. And she crosses it off.
I know what you're talking about.
And she just casually says, "I know you're probably going to deny it, but who am I like to kind of throw away just kind of the ceremony of all or something along those lines." She says, she asks him the questions, and Bojack has a moment that kind of completely subvert things and just kind of throw things in the utter chaos in the best of ways here and just say yes, 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 but he doesn't. He says no, 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 and again, we see. Because of the pressure in the moment, he just does not. He doesn't take his moment of change, which again is just going to set him back on the path of just like we're going to continue the suck back into the Hollywood system, all because he didn't take that surprising moment of change, which would have been really good. So, speaking of Paige Sinclair, so here's my missed opportunity. Here's the thing I think would have saved Paige Sinclair for me. Maybe this. I don't know if this would have worked 100% for like the story they were telling, but for me though, you know where I thought it was going. Bojack contemplates blackmailing the reporters, give them a taste of their own medicine. And I really thought the way this was going to go down was that Paige Sinclair's wedding was going to be ruined because of Bojack. I thought what was going to happen is that he would have basically exposed again had things worked out with this Max guy. She would have highlighted, oh God, look, these two.
Oh yeah, sure.
That would have happened.
Max is kind of the romantically scorned guy who wants to get back at her. Yeah. Yeah, and you know what? The way they do leave Max kind of just hanging out at that street corner, it is kind of like an anti-climax with him.
That's what I'm saying. There's no real payoff. It's okay, I'm going to go get married. That's kind of what it is.
Pretty much literally, yes.
That's just what it is. It just feels like, man, all that Paige Sinclair stuff.
I hear ya.
So, but again, while I can say that, by the same token, we still, if Bojack did go forward with that, we wouldn't have that awesome Todd bit where Todd, again, wonderfully, and this is one of Aaron Paul's great moments here, where he says, that sounds like the old Bojack. I like the new Bojack who's directing plays and everything. Tell me when that Bojack returns. I love that line. I love the innocence of that line. Just tell me when the new Bojack returns.
I love how Todd is pretty much the most mature character of the show coming out of it.
Yes, while he's making marshmallows too, but yes. I'm not gonna. I just can't. I'm sorry. I can't get over how they chemically made a marshmallow, and that's awesome. Anyway, but yes, I fully get your point. Also, El Finos. So Peanut Butter and Company. They have basically this cursed restaurant that Bojack bought, and he's had to sell to pay his debts. It's just the fact that this restaurant is just cursed never to have any good ideas or any good management at all. Where it's plates, tiny plates and lazy Susans. Just a terrible idea.
That was probably the low point of the peanut butter schemes.
And also, and again, I know we needed it for story purposes, but still, it just comes across that stupid dog yet again has hurt our Bojack character with throws that all the time.
I knew that was going to get under your skin.
I mean, this couple with the Paige Sinclair thing, it's oh, come on. I don't. Anyway, all right. I think that's all the major stuff. Yeah.
Okay. All right, moving on. Episode 4, Xerox of a Xerox. Of course, this is a big one.
This is a great title, too, by the way. I love the whole Xerox of a Xerox.
And I love how it pays off later.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, my God. I love that so much. All right, so this is the big Bojack interview episode, or in other words, Remorse Horse.
The thrust Nixon.
Yeah. Oh God! So Bojack, thanks to Princess Carolyn, he aces the first interview, and again, I love the moment of change. Moments of this half a season, man. These moments are fantastic. It's opportunities for change moments. So Bojack, he aces the first interview thanks to his trusty Princess Carolyn. Everything's coming up aces for Bojack. Again, he stuck to the truth.
Frustrating. It's so frustrating yet realistic. It's things could have gone so right for Bojack if he would have just ended here, Dragon. He could have had a happily ever after.
Again, I think it might be one of the smartest choices in the entire season. I gotta be honest. This moment where again, He told the truth. Bojack did everything right. Again, in answering like my big hypothesis for this half of the season. Like, again, are we going to go the path of like the healing path or like the punishment path? You know, with Hollywood and like these actors actors coming forward and all that sort of stuff. Like these are the big questions that we're tackling with this episode, man. It's like what I really want in the whole half of the season right here. Where again, Bojack, he admits to it all. He does right by it. I'll admit, yes, it's a little manufactured, but again, he's not lying though. That's the important part. He's not lying in this scene though.
Yeah.
So but then Hollywood pulls him back in with the addiction of fame. He's pulled back in by the Penguin Publishing guy, and he's pulled back in for a second interview to hype up. And it's kind of Mr. Peanut Butter's fault in the grand sense. I'm not taking points away for that. I'm just saying the whole birthday dad role. We gotta get more ratings for birthday dad. You should come back.
Oh God.
So again, he just didn't take the opportunity of change. He didn't just go back. He was offered his job. Hey, come back to be a professor, man. We'd love to have you. He could have just gone back to his happy ending. Everything would have been great. Hollyhock in tow. The whole thing. He could have had his own Kosminski Method spinoff for all we know. I have no idea. But he overstays. This is the genius of it all in the rewatch. He overstayed his welcome. The downfall of all sitcoms, overstaying your welcome.
Oh yeah.
Which leads to the ambush interview, which I do love how we reveal the layers of the ambush interview. How we reveal like how it went so awry and basically all the follow-up stuff and basically all like the people getting ready for like the second bite of the Bojack apple. And again, it's like the injury. Essentially, it's the industry. You can't let things go via this Paige Sinclair of it all here. Just like she can't let it go. She can't just like go forward with her wedding, just move on. She wrote her story, which did damage. Like, oh no, they're gonna put all sugar and stuff on this. I gotta dig through. I gotta basically sandbag in the next interview somehow. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, so things just go horribly, horribly wrong with the of course the Sarah Lynn of it all is pretty much the big smoking gun of the interview.
Yep. I'm gonna break down the Xerox symbol here. So Xerox, that's ridiculous. Okay, here's the
careful, Dragon. Careful. You don't want Xerox to get all Romano on us.
Oh, don't worry. I have nothing but nice things to say about the Xerox company. Xerox folks, they make a fine product. They really do. No, but no, seriously, seriously, folks.
Well, hold on, Dragon. We want to just clarify. Xerox is not a sponsor of So You Want to Be.
No, they aren't. They aren't. We just love them so much. We're just going to compliment them here, but we have no bearing whatsoever.
No affiliation. No affiliation.
No affiliation, but Xerox.
Right.
That's just a name that sounds good, doesn't it? Xerox. Like nothing negative.
Oh, yeah, but we don't want to take the name from them.
Oh, God, no. God, no. But anyway.
All right. You get the point. That was a good bit, Dragon. That was a good bit.
Okay, in all seriousness, though, so the fanaticism of the Xerox thing. So basically, of course, Xerox was to do it makes basically we have makes copies and patterns. But the copying of the Xerox machine is in relation to kind of the patterns of behavior that Bojack is confronted with within the interview, which is kind of why the Xerox was kind of this perfect thing, kind of being used against him with kind of thematically within what's happening to him in the follow-up. So Bojack is culpable for all this stuff, but he didn't always consciously cause this ruin and pain amongst all the people he came across. I think I saw the humanity in Bojack in the second interview, but you definitely saw, Bojack. When you rack up the numbers of the sheer amount of things Bojack has done, it's like the downfall was not in the fact that he was still playing things by Princess Carolyn's playbook by copying to him and everything. However, he was facing multiple claims versus the one. That makes the difference right there. It wasn't just like one claim about like the night of what happened to Sarah Lynn. This is like everything and like all these other, everything else kind of coming bubbling forth and all the little details. That's what it was doing was. So the Herb flashback thoughts.
Oh man, remind me, that's the one with the outline, right?
Mm-hmm, that's the one.
Oh yeah. I mean, all I can say, Dragon, is Herb throughout the season is just like this haunting, ghostly presence that just
me. I love it when Herb Kazaz shows up because one, I love Stanley Tucci, but also really great story with Herb Kazaz.
Oh yeah.
So of course, I love it's this kind of the symbol for our penultimate, our penultimate episode again. Bojack's connection to Hollywood, where he's literally emblazoned on a wall somewhere in Hollywood, with with the outline. Again, Bojack kind of facing, basically, Bojack himself is falling within the lines of who he was then and who he is now within that moment where he walks back into that club. And the interview is, with the we have that line at the very end of the episode about the interview, where essentially it's kind of has like an outline kind of somehow worked in there, which is kind of nice. Again, we can like a lot of it all falls into place within the little outline symbol. It's quite nice.
By the way, I freaking love the moment where Bojack gets one last moment. Sorry, repetition.
I know.
Bojack gets he gets one last chance to go on stage before all hell breaks loose, and he knows that this is like the last chance he has to be in public. You know, it's like the last grasp of, you know, his former life.
Yeah.
Very good stuff.
So, right. I guess real quick, of course, Dr. Champ, man, the big payoff for Dr. Champ was this episode where
I called this. I totally called this.
Where Dr. Champ, he basically, oh god, Dr. Champ, that charlatan, he was a therapist.
I'm not a therapist. I'm a therapy horse.
Oh, that lousy stinking, that Dr. Champ. Anyway,
you must admit, like next to Dr. Champ, Mr. Peanut Butter is like mildly more likable.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Okay, good.
Then again, Dr. Champ, a little more sympathetic, because all his sobriety went down the tubes, though, if you want to.
Yeah, but it wasn't Bojack's fault.
True. That's fair point. Okay, anyway. So, let's see. So, of course, our character, I look at all of our characters again in perspective this episode. You know, Diane, she's moving on from Bojack, you know, with and how she meets Sonny. She meets Sonny, and of course, that goes belly up real fast. Like, yo, your dad hates your mom. It's like, wait, what?
Oh my god, I love that. I love that.
I love Diedrich Bader, so I'm pretty sure Diedrich Bader did the voice of Sonny. And so Princess Carolyn, again, this is the chilling moment. Princess Carolyn, we got to talk about this. So after the second interview, Princess Carolyn, who advised against that follow-up interview. Princess Carolyn, you see the regret that she has. You know, she regrets the business for a moment, and she's always in the business, man. This is like the one time she regrets the business, where she has that sobering wake-up call where she's kind of even questioning herself, like, was I manipulated by Bojack? Did he have power over me? It's like, oh, God, it's so chilling. Like, oh, poor Princess Carolyn. And again, you see like the uneasiness of like, yeah, it'll be fine, right? Yeah, well, we'll see, I guess. You know, she's like so uneasy, and that's one of Amy Sedaris' best kind of performances within this half. Really good there. And Todd, again, moving on from Bojack, he's moving in with his new girlfriend, Maude. I like Maude, by the way. And then there's Maude.
By the way, I watched a YouTube video of the actress who plays Maude, and she has a really nice story of like how she was like a big Bojack fan, and pretty much you know, the guy, the creator of Bojack saw her YouTube videos and thought she had a good voice for the character.
Nice.
Yeah,
that is really nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, Todd's finding his own couch, man. I love this, how simple, yet again, like he's grown up, and how the symbol of growing up, he's going to have his own couch. That's Todd.
Right. Moving
up. Simple but accurate. All right.
So Maude, it's like I just love their chemistry, Dragon. They're so adorable and like immature, but in the most charming of ways.
I love, if I remember correctly, I want to say Bojack is the one who hooked because he had he recommended the asexual.
He recommended Todd's app to her,
yeah, which I thought that was so nice on the rewatch of getting ready for the new season. Like, oh my god, like all these little things are coming into play, and the fact that she came back, oh god, Maude is on the buns and everything. Oh, it's nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right, I think that's about it for this episode, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Then we get into the Horny Unicorn.
Yes, the Horny Unicorn.
Nothing but fun times in this title, right?
Soon to be Deadpool's favorite movie of 2021, I imagine.
Oh my god.
All right, no, this is so of course this is the big Bojack's Fall from Grace episode and Todd's party. That's kind of the big events of this one. So Bojack, he's now infamous.
Can we just go straight to Lance Wagner, because I love Lance Wagner in this episode.
It's Vance Wagner, Tiki.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. Absolutely. I was close.
Oh, Vance Wagner, it's a letter off, right. But it was close, yeah.
All right. Vance Wagner.
Played by the wonderful Bobby Cannavale, kind of doing his take on Mel Gibson, which is great.
Oh my God! Right. Oh God, Bobby Cannavale.
So seriously, Vance Wagner. What's so great about this character? Of course, in he was one of the best elements of season 5. In that season 5, we foreshadowed what was going to happen to Bojack by the end of that season with this Vance Wagner character. And we brought him back wonderfully here, where Bojack. He's now infamous. He's basically he begins his descent towards rock bottom and hits it by the end of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
So basically,
like pretty much he's canceled Dragon at this point. Like no one will interact with him. You know, all the people at AA just shoot him dirty looks and refuse to talk to him. You know, like people are just kind of throwing trash at him on the streets, stuff like that. Like his life is about as bad as it could be.
Let me roll down. Let me kind of run down it for a second here. I mean, Bojack is stripped of everything this episode. So of course, we learned through some funny kind of drive-through exposition. Because Bojack, the big signature of Bojack is they're really on the nose with the exposition, but it's kind of done ironically, like they're aware of it. Where it's like, oh yeah, I heard Bojack. He's probably coming from court because he had to pay $5 million to Sarah Lynn's family.
Right. Well, of course, also one of my favorite uses of that is when they're in flashbacks and, you know, they'll be like, hey, this is a song about the 90s.
Yeah, we just got to have a 90s meeting, a 90s business meeting.
Right, exactly.
Basically, he stripped the best.
It's kind of all part of the rhythm of the show.
He stripped the $5 million. Of course, his Xerox comment during his interview cost him $100 million, basically $100 million.
I love that.
Cost him his house, all because he mentioned Xerox in a vaguely derogatory manner. Vaguely, because you guys just saying he didn't really say there's anything wrong with Xerox. Because again, folks, there is nothing wrong with Xerox. But you know, basically, it was
nothing
wrong, folks. Seriously, there's nothing wrong with Xerox.
Right.
So. Serious, there's nothing wrong with Xerox.
Okay, I get it.
Right. Okay, good. No, so, back on point. So then, of course, he loses all his AA meeting guys. They don't like him anymore. And it was really. I love the microaggressions where Leo, the lion guy, basically he just doesn't even hold the door open for Bojack. That was the really telling bit. Where it's like, oh god, it's like the visual symbol. Like people don't like when they see it coming. They don't hold the door open for it. It's like the most as microaggressive as it gets. Anyway, so then of course Vance Wagner's waiting on the outside. And basically, he's now the new sober companion. He's the new sponsor for Bojack, which is a very bad.
Hey,
it's
me, Vance Wagner.
Yes, I know it's me, Vance Wagner. And Bojack now is living with Mr. Peanut Butter, which to me is a really bad fate. He's living with Mr. Peanut Butter.
That is Bojack's personal hell, and I love it.
Mine too. Yeah, he can't. He can only get work as an extra, and a much maligned extra too. He can't even get his face on camera anymore. Todd. It was really sad when Todd turned him away from his fancy party because he knew Bojack would cause something to go wrong at the party, and Vance dropping the plant does not help his cause.
That was hard to watch for sure.
It was. I don't know if I've ever mentioned this. I love Todd's red suit, by the way. I love when he's in his red suit.
Yeah.
Speaking of Todd, real quick before we get back to the whole Vance Wagner and Bojack, well, that's a huge part of the episode. I love Todd and Jorge's dynamic. Todd and his stepfather. I love his stepfather really grew on me, man, on the rewatch. I really liked it, but now I kind of love him. I love the fact, please keep trying. I love, man, he's in his corner, man. Jorge's trying to get the family together, but it's not going great.
Dragon, I heard a theory. This is going to be my first dark theory. All right.
Oh God. What?
Of course, the resolution with Todd's mother. It all ends fine, dandy. It's all happy. But Dragon, what if they went an alternate route? And what if the whole thing was that Todd's mother was dead the whole time, but Jorge didn't have the heart to tell Todd because that's what made Todd be motivated to be a better person. You know what I mean? And Jorge could see that he was trying to be a better person to impress his mom. You know what I mean?
That's an interesting idea. Obviously, there's an inherent flaw in that because Todd shares scenes with his mother and with witnesses. But
I'm not saying it's an actual theory. I'm just saying it's kind of like an alternative, like a rewrite. Like they could have written it that way.
That would have been interesting. Yeah. It would have been interesting. It would have been even sadder because he donated a kidney, which would have been really sad.
Oh God.
Okay, like imagine like again, what if you had like here's like what if the kidney killed her? That's the really dark thing.
Oh Jesus! All right.
That's
Well,
what,
Dragon, I've got an ultimate sad horse walks. The horse walks into the bar thing. I've got a theory for how we could still
You
get
don't have
that.
to remind me because again, I walked in this season wondering, are we going to go the horse walks into the bar thing? I'm well aware of that.
All right. Well, I've got a theory for how we could get there post the finale of this show, and it's gonna bum you the fuck out.
All right,
Dragon.
okay, we'll get there. By the way, Judah's back. He's cool. Judah's cool.
I love Judah, and
I
I'm
know.
kind of like in the minority of people who do think that him and Princess Carolyn belong together.
Wait, you don't think they belong together?
No, I do, but I think that a lot. I've heard a lot of. I heard a lot of dissenters. Honestly.
Oh man, I love those two together. I love Judah, man. How could you not like Judah with anybody, man? It's anyway. Okay, let's see. So of course, Diane she bonds with Sonny via the Ivy Tran books, which is quite nice. Again, little bright spots in the episode, like a little bright spot there, a little bright spot with Judah, but then we get to the rock bottom moment. Oh god, Bojack's rock bottom is heartbreaking. So Bojack, while going with Vance Wagner to his daughter's college, when you think there was like a crisis or something, but no, he's just kind of like he's yelling Stella style to her window. It's like, hey, you didn't like my Instagram, but you liked your mother's Instagram post or something along those lines. It's like something so ridiculous and stupid. And anyway, so while he's making a scene, just being ridiculous at Vance Wagner, Bojack, he's recognized but commended again. At first I liked where that guy was coming from, saying, "Hey, you did kind of get screwed over in that interview," and but then again, when he said, like, "Yeah, you were," basically along the lines of, "Yeah, we need someone to push back." It's like, "Oh no," it's like, "Oh man, now he's lost me." Now he's lost.
This was a really interesting. Dragon, this is kind of the territory that I think we would have covered if the show got a whole season 7 and not just a season 6. Is the whole idea of like living in the call out culture and like the different people who you switch tribes, if you will, for more unsavory people. I really think we would have explored this more.
But again, I think we scratched the itch very well in these last 2 seasons with all that stuff. That was very so. Yeah, I hear you though. I do. So anyway, so here's the big rock bottom moment here. Of course, the big hollyhock of it all. So throughout the episode, Bojack, he's been calling Hollyhock, trying to get in touch with her. So a little time's passed since all the legal troubles and everything, the whole $5 million to Sarah family, all the stuff's come out about him. She was already, again, Bojack didn't know this. She was already kind of in the know about some of the stuff, and basically the Sarah Lynn affair. And of course, that disastrous second interview did not help things, I'm sure. And Bojack gets a letter in the mail as he's kicked out of his $100 million house. And basically he's been dreading it, and I love the bit where he just can't call anymore because her line's been disconnected, probably from all the Bojack calls. And Bojack, he finally opens it. I love that we don't see what was written on the letter. I love how we can infer.
Yeah.
We can infer that she found out what happened. That even if she didn't, just that interview. Basically, that's really cutting the cord from Bojack, saying, "I never want to see you again." And he just drops the letter, and I think we hear like the piano cue again, and he wanders back in the house. And he just sits there and do his kind of time-elapse shower. Basically, all this time goes by people taking photos of him. Again, very, very Hollywood, very much like these people like, hey, celebrity sitting on the couch, just get selfies and stuff with him. As time passes, in the haunting last shot, he's holding a bottle in his hand, and Bojack has lost his sobriety.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's it's so heartbreaking, right?
It is, and it just kind of goes to show you that even an episode titled "The Horny Unicorn" can really get to you.
So one more thing on the Horny Unicorn before we move on, because I know we're going to be on set for that in the next one, but with the birth of that concept, so Vance Wagner's, the reason we bring him back, I think, is that we need someone in the same boat as Bojack, who then finds someone so he's not alone. That's going to Vance Wagner. That's why he's gravitating towards Bojack. Hey, the guy who kind of screwed me over, he and I have a lot in common right now. We can't be alone. We should be together. Kind of guys in misery together, that sort of thing. Where Wagner essentially is what happens when the industry just punishes people with no room for redemption. That's not saying that Vance Wagner didn't have ample opportunity to kind of turn things around. I want to make that clear. It's not that he didn't have ample opportunity to turn things around, but it's the fact that still he was vilified. And there was nothing ever taken. There was no support. No, like, hey, let's give him. Let's try to heal him. No, we're just going to condemn him. He's going to try to come back. We're going to shut him down. and it's kept getting worse from that point onwards. Basically, we see with Vance Wagner what Bojack is on the path of becoming from this low point onward. Because Bojack in the public eye is essentially the horny unicorn. That's what he is after that interview, which, of course, infamously spins to, it's the infamous actor looking for work that's beneath him, which would be a horny unicorn type project. Which brings us, speaking of low of lows and infamous actors looking for work and looking for the next paycheck, so to speak, let's get to the next episode.
All right, folks, this is where this whole episode 6 and episode 7 is just kind of like a tour de force 1-2 punch of basically episode 6 is kind of like this bottle. It's not a bottle episode per se, but it kind of builds up to this big encounter that's just kind of earth shattering.
Well, remember,
and then episode 7 is just what?
Remember, Tiki, this is kind of the ending of this. Here's the thing: this is kind of the ending to the main story of the season. Then we have.
No, you're right. You're right. I know. I'm not lost on that. It's yeah. This is the last time that we see the characters in present day.
Yeah. Yeah, very absolutely. So. Let's see. So Bojack, very fascinatingly in this episode, as you can tell by the episode title, Bojack is reunited with the author of all his pain in the business, which is Angela Diaz.
Yeah, come to find out, she did not have as much power as she maybe implied.
Oh God, it's so that's so twisted, man. So Angela delivered the ultimate blow in. She delivers the ultimate blow in putting. Oh God. And basically, in buying out Bojack's stake in horsing around, she basically makes the offer of buying his back end, which basically means Bojack
around.
Yes, just making it around. No horsing, just around. Which again is I love how they framed it. They framed it basically doing like a Cosby Show thing, where again it's like this is a fascinating question of where we might be going in the future with things. I don't think we're ever going to go quite this far, but I buy the people.
Oh, that'd be crazy if we did that with the Cosby Show. Oh,
or just with movie. Again, we've seen this. I won't go too deep to examples. We've seen movies where people have been recast entirely in their roles, so it is possible.
Sure,
but it'd be shocking if we did that for like a TV series, like a classic TV series. That's what I'm saying, man. That's like, oh God, we just made like
the different Huxtables.
Yes, I mean, Tegan, when you phrase it, and now you give me a far better example, the Roseanne of it all. We strip out the Roseanne, it's the Connors. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
We are heading that way. That's what's so scary about this. We're kind of flirting with this more and more, with like movies and television.
All right, this is getting a little too political here, Dragon.
Fine. I'm just saying literally what's in the episode, so we're not trying to make any stance.
I know.
But anyway, point being, basically, what she's stealing from it here is that horse from horsing around, like the big angel, like his version of the horse walks into a bar with like, oh, aren't you that horse from horsing around? It's like his big sell line. She's trying. This is like the last thing Bojack has in his life, like taking like his fame away from him with this buyout here. That's like, I love that as the ultimate low point of Bojack. I think that's fascinating. I love it.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Other than that, like I love the stuff with Princess Carolyn and Judah. You know, him leaving the gig to go back to work for her, and her going to the gig but then leaving the gig. All that, It's very lovely. The song.
I like the whole idea of Girdle Taub, basically after the whole Bojack affair. Now Turtle Taub, played by the wonderful J.K. Simmons, he's basically they're in fear of the Me Too-esque era of Hollywood. So we're like, okay, guys, we got a very girl centric kind of Girdle Taub, because now we've had another executive who's kind of gone down some infamous paths, and now we got to rebrand. Let's get Princess Carolyn in on this. She knows her stuff. But yeah, this is Princess Carolyn's big break that she's offered in this episode. And again, honestly, as what we learned in the previous half of season, Princess Carolyn, she's been put through a lot in her days as an intern, with the whole intern strike last half season. So this is kind of justice for her days as the abused intern. She's now being able to run the whole production company, and basically through Judah, she's inspired to do it on her own. Like forget like being part of like Turtle Taub spinoff, have your own spinoff, man. Do it yourself.
Yeah, and you know what's great about that is that, in the early days of Princess Carolyn, we kind of viewed her ambition as almost kind of like an admirable quirk. But then, the whole like, I'm going to switch careers and go from agent to producer. But Dragon, holy shit, it really pays off. And Princess Carolyn is just like, and Dragon, I just want to say, like, Princess Carolyn really does remind me of a woman that I used to intern for, like, straight down to the voice and the physique and the can-do, hardworking attitude and everything. So every time I see Princess Carolyn, I always think of that woman. So that's just kind of like an added benefit to that character, anyways.
Speaking of kind of fun, there's some fun returns in this episode. A big fun return.
Margot Martindale.
Margot
Actress Margot Martindale.
Seriously, kids, check out Sneaky Pete. I can, but there are 3 seasons of it. Margot Martindale's quite good in them. Right.
So I do think this was a pretty fun conclusion to the Todd mother storyline. I don't know. What do you think of the last scene with him and his mom? Because I feel like a lot of people are saying it was maybe a little too late, but I kind of like the fact that it was sort of like, okay, like there's a lot of awkward, unsaid stuff between them still. But they're trying. They're getting off on the right foot. There's some humor there between them. Maybe we kind of get the sense that maybe she gave him his sense of humor in a way.
Well, first off, I love this kind of Jorge inadvertently inspired like one last Todd scheme, this whole hostage plan to reconnect with her mother, with Margot Martindale, like wanting these Frito pies. Just sounds ridiculous, but the fact that Jorge Chavez, as well put together as he seems, really they didn't box the pies. Why would they not box the pies? I don't know. Point being, though, but yeah, so Todd, he is essentially he's grown up without becoming unrecognizable, and more so with that last scene. What I really took away from is that when he's reconnected with his mother after everything they've been through, these ridiculous kind of hostage circumstances. I love the idea, at least the way it read to me, is that she was the one. Had she been in his life, she would be the one to discourage all the ridiculous ideas Todd had for all these years. Like all these ideas where basically Todd throws out an idea. She says, I don't know. Basically, she would be the one to say, maybe you should think about that a little bit more. And ultimately, that's kind of what her role would have been in life. So I thought it was nice, and like that little detail is like all I need to know. Like that's where Todd needed her in his life, and maybe on the future, like again, they don't really need each other anymore, but they kind of would like to be with each other, which is kind of nice.
Yeah. It's a nice sentiment for sure.
And again, Margot Martindale kind of helped save the day through really unusual. Basically, her acting almost killed a woman, so it's kind of what we had there. And again, she's bailed out. She's bailed out for indie film, which is quite nice as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Real quick, Angela Diaz. So back to the thing you brought up earlier, because this is a big part here. We revealed that she ruined Bojack's life with that bluff, man. That she could not have fired Bojack, obviously, but also Herb could have stayed if Bojack kind of done what Herb asked him to. Basically, pull a Ren and Stimpy, pull like a John K. In the sense of, if you stay, if Billy West threatened to leave, perhaps they would keep on the other guy. Perhaps they'd keep on the showrunner.
Right.
Basically, be that kind of like plan. Of course, it didn't go that way at all, which led to her being let go. But again, Bojack could have saved him had he just gone to bat for him, which Angela had been helpless against. And it's just that's so heartbreaking to me. Like Angela, she really, when she came back, I love how long it's been since we've seen Angela Diaz. So I think we haven't seen her just since season 1. I really think it's been that long.
I think so. Yeah.
Oh God!
It's a great call. It's a great pull. Of course, it's a great tradition for characters from the first season to be pulled into the last season of TV shows. So, the fact that we have an episode named after her, no less, is a wonderful pull.
Absolutely. Of course, because of this, Bojack, he hits rock bottom as he drunkenly tries to recreate his status quo, almost Bates Motel finale style. When Norman Bates in the Bates Motel finale, basically he goes in the kind of a full reset blackout mode. He just thinks he's in the first episode of Bates Motel. Bojack thinks he's going home like, Todd, where are you? It's just great. Anyway, so he basically he drunkenly returns and watches Horse around. We have the audition scene that started all in the bonus features, which is great. I love that. I love that.
That I love, and that just goes to show how much of an influence Herb was on Bojack, and how Bojack probably wouldn't have gotten horsing around at all if it wasn't for Herb.
Absolutely. Which then brings us to the most noteworthy episode of possibly, if not the whole series, then at least
I would say the whole series. I would
thought.
say very arguably the whole series.
A lot of people might cite that Seahorse episode, but this one definitely would take the cake.
You know what? Screw the Seahorse episode, man. The Seahorse episode is like the 1917 of Bojack Horseman. All right? I'm serious. Like, I think that Seahorse episode is a little overrated for what it is. Anyways.
Okay, so
all due respect.
Okay, here's a big one for you, folks. Here's a big payoff for the whole series one in this episode. The view from halfway down.
I should have thought about the view from halfway down.
So this is the big. Of course, Bojack is very famous for a really thrilling penultimate heady episode.
I was wondering if they were going to do it, and yep, they did it. They not only did it, but they just like went balls and delivered the most thrilling penultimate in the history of penultimates.
Now, this episode is really complemented by, if you folks did your homework going into this one, if you watch Telescope from season 1 of Bojack Horseman, this episode's going to really hit you on when you watch through it again after seeing that one.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of payoffs to that episode here, and I thought it was great. So Bojack essentially is in kind of like a limbo state, kind of a limbo dream state, as he's kind of on his way out here, as he's basically drowning. But again, time kind of works differently in dreams. Therefore, he has like time for like a whole evening and a dinner and a show, essentially. As he's probably in the midst of dying. So it's basically he's basically kind of having dinner with all the people that he's lost. Out of all the people we've seen die in the Bojack series.
Yeah, including what's his name, the erotic asphyxiation guy.
Oh yeah, that's Corduroy.
Corduroy,
yeah. Corduroy. Oh god, the fact that
he's just kind of like chilling in the background most of the episode.
Yes, but remember, Bojack's kind of the. We'll get the Corduroy here. We're gonna break him down here.
All right.
Okay, so let's broad spectrum it for a second here. So basically, of course, I love the little dreamlike touches. By the way, I love like the little dreamlike touch, a little creepy dreamlike touches, like the tar dripping.
That everyone at the dinner table is eating what killed them.
Yes, like Herb again. Because remember, Herb wasn't killed by the cancer. He actually beat the cancer.
No. Yeah. Herb was killed by the peanuts.
I completely forgot about that till I rewatched this. I gotta be honest. I had a feeling
you forgot about that until
I forgot.
I didn't even have to rewatch because I was wondering what big that was a revelation for the record about the Telescope.
I mean, Yeah, until like on Telescope, I forgot. Like, I assumed the cancer killed him until I rewatched Telescope. Like, oh god, it's.
No, I already knew about that, Dragon, so I didn't even have to rewatch the Telescope, honestly.
But honestly, let me tell you my favorite thing on the rewatch of Telescope: the tar dripping. Because again, like, there's this really effective bit where basically the tar in the Telescope. Charlotte warned Bojack that it's not a question of if Bojack's going to become famous; it's a question of when he's going to become famous. Because when he becomes famous, they're looking at like kind of the famed tar pits, where essentially it's the idea that Hollywood is built on top of like, the tar pit. Something was there ages ago. So again, this is what Hollywood is in its natural state, and then basically built on top of that. And over time, we're just going to sink back into the tar, which is a great idea. And again, like I was wondering when I was watching this episode, what is with the black, the black? And it's really cool looking. I assume it's like a water thing, but no, it was the black tar that she was referencing all the way back there. And I thought that was genius. And it's basically you become a tourist trap of Hollywood. You become essentially like a star on the Walk of Fame through what was even there before the Walk of Fame. So it's a great also symbol of the past, symbol of beginnings for Bojack, which of course through the dinner with the whole kind of set piece of everything here. So it's quite nice.
All right, God, Dragon. Of course, we're on a little bit of a time crunch with the streaming, so I don't necessarily think we have time to go into like everyone individually. But what are some of the highlights?
All right, let's see. Of course, Sarah Lynn with her. I'm just going to blend together the dinner and the kind of the performances, just to abbreviate things.
Sure, sure.
So Sarah Lynn, of course, we have her with the reprise. Of course, Sarah Lynn's your girl, by the way. As you know, I know you know.
Yes, yeah, obviously I know. Yeah,
I know. I'm just saying for the folks who may not know.
For the folks, he means Kristen Shaw, one of my favorite voice actresses. So
yes, so Sarah Lynn, of course, has the "Don't Stop Dancing" callback, which is one of my favorite parts of season 5. By the way,
by the way, did you catch the resolution to Gina?
I did. It was great.
Okay, good.
She got the superhero movie. She got the
yeah.
So
on a billboard. It's subtle, but it's there.
There is a lot of folks. Believe me, again, we can't go through all of it here, but even in all the Dream stuff, there are these really great subtle callbacks to all sorts of stuff through Bojack.
Oh my god, I know.
You wouldn't believe me. Anyway,
so let's talk about Lin-Manuel Miranda's Cracker Jack.
Yes. Oh boy, the Cracker Jack stuff. So Cracker Jack.
Dragon, you got to admit, this is compelling Lin-Manuel Miranda performance here, right?
It is. It is quite compelling. Let's see. The Secretariat choice is really brilliant. So basically, we've combined.
That was brilliant. That was great. I love that.
Combination of Bojack's hero, of course, played by John Krasinski usually. In this case, played by Will Arnett, who plays Butterscotch Horseman. So basically, his father. It is his father, but his father via secretary. Because the idea his father, died when he was young and wasn't around. And the fact is, he idealized his father as secretary. And again, his hero did commit suicide. Again, a horse dying in water, which of course is kind of Bojack's state right now. So again, it's basically it's a fascinating combination of those two.
Oh god, and of course you remember the whole treading water thing, and Bojack's when I die, I just want to float out peacefully and all that.
And remember, the biggest symbol of the show, the big painting in his house of the horse, basically the narcissism painting, of, the horse looking down, the horse in the water. Which again,
not to mention the intro.
Yes. The point being, I'm now break down the symbolism of the pool. A lot of full circle pool payoffs here.
It's like the audience is we get it, pool. All right.
Yes, the car crash, the opening, the painting of narcissism, and he also even headier. In this nightmare, there is an image of that very same painting, but the horse is drowning in the water instead of swimming in the water.
Ooh.
Awesome, right? It's creepy, but it's awesome.
Yeah.
So with Secretariat, there's we get the namesake from the Secretariat stuff. So in the Secretariat stuff, we have him going through the painting, him going through the poem of the view from halfway down, which again, what's so great about this? It's basically having regrets mid-fall. Secretariat on his way down, he realized the view from halfway down. Is oh God, I don't want this.
It's the origins of this poem.
No, I don't. What is the origins of this poem?
The origins of this poem is that it was co-written by two guys who survived jumping off the Golden Gate Bridge.
Oh my God! Really?
Yes, I am not kidding you. That is,
I
looked into it.
It sounds like that. I believe, based on the strength of the poem, I'd buy it. Let's see. Again,
and they collaborated. The poem was basically therapy. Through a support group for suicide survivors.
Fascinating. Corduroy Jackson, just to keep it simple, basically Bojack not being caring towards Cora. Basically, Cora saying, I'm chancing it by kind of trying to kill myself in the midst of self-pleasure. It's Bojack had no objections to this. He just kind of casually talked to him. That was kind of the basically Bojack could have prevented Corduroy's death had he shown more concern. Let's see. So that's, of course, Herb being the last big one we got to talk about. Herb's last moments in this series. Oh my God! I think Stanley Tucci doing his finest performance in this episode.
Yeah,
I really do. So one of his best performances. He's basically the MC of the.
There is no other side.
Oh, you stole my yes, but I was.
I'm sorry.
No, you're right though. You're right. It's to me the two most chilling lines is when Secretariat's freaking out. He says, "Find your peace. Find your peace." But seriously though, that moment where he's just saying goodbye to Bojack and just I love him. He's basically voicing Bojack's subconscious, voicing his brain, telling him you're helpless right now. You just got to roll with it. But again, there's such a truth in his response in the last moments there as he kind of sticks his hand there and goes, "Well, yes, I'll see you on the other side." There is no other side. This is it. It's God, I love that. This is why I love Stanley Tucci, man. Even a little line like that, he made it sing. Oh my God, Tucci's the man. Tucci's the man. All right, yeah. So Okay, we can glow about this one forever, as you can probably tell.
We could, yeah.
One being, like, Zach Braff's in it because he died in the series.
Oh my god, I forgot about Braff. Jesus Christ.
Okay, so one last thing, and we'll move on. Right, move on to the end, I guess.
Okay.
The not waking up bit where Bojack, he's had this dream before where he basically and then I'm going to the butler's going to say, hey, you need to reach to your other side, like, pardon me, reach to the other side, and then I'll wake up, and of course that happens, and we hear like the piano thing yet again. It's like, oh god, it's like Bojack's not waking up, and he's not waking up from this. So basically, the end is the really scary part of the episode here, where basically Bojack, if the episode wasn't scary enough, it gets worse. So Bojack, he's being chased through the mansion by the Black Tar, and he's just calling Diane. And Diane, again, like, Diane is his lifeline. Not in this case. Diane she's not answering, but she answers in the dream, say, as she's telling you, no, I didn't answer the phone. Remember, you got out of the pool. Basically, the idea that Bojack, he had a moment where he could have saved himself, or if he just didn't get back in the pool, but he had to call Diane to get her approval before going back in the pool. That's the sad part of it all right there. It's oh boy, but it's also possible. I read it
once again. I mean, that's like the third time, like the rule of threes, Dragon, of like him having a moment where he could have saved himself and he didn't.
Absolutely, and I read it like this on the rewatch. Tiki, tell me if you had this. I think that call is what actually saved his life. I think it stalled. It stalled like him dying in the pool. That just him getting out for a second.
Yeah, I could see that. Sure.
And of course, we end on the beep. We end on the flat line, and just again, me going to this, like, my original theory before your walks into a bar thing, it came into my mind. It was like, you know what? Again, I think it's going to be either Bojack. If Bojack dies, he could actually die this season. It could be a Sunset Boulevard thing. Which, of course, that's the main thing they're always hinting at with the pool thing. Of course, celebrity dies in the pool. Sunset Boulevard. Which, again, you're thinking, oh god, what if Bojack he could die this season? Like, oh god, the beep and the penultimate. And they were really cutesy with this too. And in the descriptions for the episodes, the description for the next one is a celebration brings everybody together.
Oh my god. Yeah, I'm glad you bring that up because that totally sounds like a funeral.
That's what I'm saying. The last episode could have been entire. It is essentially an episode. It could have been like a funeral. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So then we get, okay, let's just jump right into it. So then we get the last episode. We get episode 8 or 16, depending on your preference. Nice while it lasted. Which is our ending. And
beautiful name for the season finale, by the way.
Yep. So we have I love the tease at Bojack's death at the start of it here. Again, very Sunset Boulevard style. He's floating in the pool, and then we see again, because this is a really great pull from the series. The last episode of Horse and Ram was on a dark note, where Bojack died in the series. So we use that clip again. Where it's a dead Bojack. Being basically dying in a hospital. Again, then now this is where your thing came true. I was thinking, oh god, they might be going Tiki's way here, where they play Why the Long Face.
Would you like to remind the audience what my theory was, just so they're not in the dark about it?
Right. So Tiki's theory was that Bojack was going to go to prison, and he went to prison, and he was going to get out, and then as he got out, he was going to go to a bar, and the bartender was going to look at him and say, "Why the long face?" Right.
Well, specifically because he realized that all his family and friends did not care about him anymore.
Right.
Like they had all moved on from him.
Sure. And again,
yeah, here we go, because we do get that last moment with Bojack and Diane, and it's a very bittersweet moment. We'll get to that. But Dragon, honestly, think about it. Like, Bojack's got 6 more months in prison by the time he gets out. Diane's going to be married. Princess Carolyn's married. Todd is probably, it's a situation where who is going to really be there for Bojack, Dragon? Really? When he gets out of prison?
I mean, not really anybody. I mean, again, they're all going to be busy with other things, and they're keeping their distance.
That's what I'm saying. Right. So I pose the question, even though we do kind of end on this sort of bittersweet note, I do still very much think that it's, and of course, I think one of the themes of this episode is kind of the patterns repeating themselves, and the fact that we're all kind of maybe a little powerless about the patterns. So Dragon, honestly, it's we pretty much got. The only thing we didn't get with my prediction of this ending was the actual. I'm sorry, hit him with it.
Even the why the long face.
Yeah, what was the punchline?
Oh god, the punchline was that. Oh yeah, the punchline is that Bojack was not dead. That Bojack did not die. That he was jailed for breaking.
No. I'm sorry. I'm just saying the punchline is, what I thought was going to happen was him walking into the bar, the bartender asking why the long face, and thus the whole show is just the most epic freaking horse walks into a bar joke ever. But
yeah.
but Dragon, like I said, basically we get everything set up for that by all intents and purposes.
Yes.
All right, I'm sorry. Let's move on. Let's go through the
episode. No, I hear you though. Again, again, I do like that we kind of serviced a little bit. I was glad to see your thing kind of factor into. We kind of both got what we want. We teased it up with mine, but we also got yours.
Right.
The minute I heard that why a long face thing, that was the first thing I was thinking of. Oh man, he kind of got his wish. I mean, Anyway, we're both half right. I guess is what I'm saying here. We're both half right.
Yeah.
Right. So Bojack, he's jailed for breaking and entering of all things, which I wonder if there's a little bit. And again, obviously the actors move far past this, which again, it makes me wonder if it's intentional. It might be a little bit of a Robert Downey Jr. homage, because again, famously, Downey Jr. in his youth, a lot of problems, and of course, breaking and entering kind of happened a lot of times when he was on a bender, which was not good.
Right.
But again, you look at him now, everyone's moved past him, man. Everybody loves RDJ. Loves him. He's cleaned up his act so wonderfully.
Except for you, little.
Well, again, that's like, you know what I mean. What?
I'm just saying.
All right, fine. A Doolittle aside, everybody loves RDJ. Right. Point being, he's become he's kind of a mecca for what you should strive for in the NSC. Doolittle notwithstanding.
Sure.
So I wonder if maybe they're saying, like, again, things could turn out well for Bojack with a little bit of a light comparison there. I don't know. Perhaps there's a little bit of hope in that regard, in terms of, like, yeah, he's going to prison, but again, he's on his way out. He seems to be doing well.
We need an El Camino, Dragon. We need an El Camino.
Yep. Of course, they gave him a year. Because again, at the end of the day, I'm surprised they gave him a year. Because again, of all the
18 months.
18 months.
He gets out of prison after a year, and then he has 6 months to go after this episode.
Right. Sorry. But yeah, I guess what I'm saying is, like, I think of all the things for him to go away for, it was just for the. But again, he said himself, it's like, yeah, they got me officially for breaking and entering, but I think it was more for, like, kind of get him for everything, sort of, kind of like an OJ sort of thing. Like, well, we got him for something a little smaller, but we wanted to get him for the thing we couldn't get him for in the other place. So
Sure.
Meet in the middle. All right. So Bojack, he's still an acting teacher, just in a more unusual setting.
I love that. He's thriving in prison.
Mm-hmm, which is nice.
I think it makes sense for his character too. Because Bojack thrives in structure.
He does, and again, the structures helped him stay sober. So again, he's kind of back on the mending path, which is also nice. But again, he has the same fear of, like, I think the whole episode is predicated on the uncertainty of the future. That's kind of what the whole episode's predicated on. That again,
exactly. Hence why the horse walks into the bar thing, I feel like, is still very much on the table.
It is. So again, we're just reversed. Basically, we kind of winded it back to the first half of the season, where again, Bojack, he's in a structured environment where basically he's gone clean and sober for literally the same amount of time at this point. Like after all these weeks, basically it's kind of added up, and he has like a structure built in there, and the fact that he is. He's terrified on, like, what if when I leave this place that has kind of kept me clean, what will happen to me? Will I be worse? I love Todd. Well, first of all, we're going to Princess Carolyn and Judah's wedding, which is nice. So we're going to the wedding. He's kind of released for just for the wedding, which sometimes happens in prison events, like for funerals.
Yeah.
I guess weddings. I don't really see it often, but I imagine so. It figures, by the way, that there's this ridiculous thing I call in the rewatch. Apparently, Birthday Dad, they really bolstered up. Apparently, Birthday Dad was the first show to get a Nobel Prize.
Oh, no, I missed that. Oh, God.
Yeah, literally, it was the first show to get a Nobel Prize. Just the dumbest thing. Oh, I will say this, much as I'm not crazy about Mr. Peanut Butter, I love that I called that Christopher Nolan. I thought it was hysterical. Of all the pointless pop culture references that Mr. Peanut Butter has made throughout the course of Bojack Horseman, I think the Nolan thing's like the best thing he's ever done. Even Bojack says, "Man, it's a rather astute observation. That, like the women in the Christopher Nolan movies, are there, but not really about them."
Right.
Which we've even made that point. There are Nolan members. Like,
everyone's made that point.
Yeah, that's the thing. Nolan, we love him, but he really.
Then he overcompensated for Interstellar by making it entirely about Murph.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. Okay, anyway, we can't go down the Nolan rabbit hole. I think the whole Hollywood thing. It's funny, but it just makes the Peanut Butter look like an idiot, which he is.
I honestly kind of I could take or leave that gag, Dragon. Honestly,
that's a thing. It's like, I don't know if it would have been more satisfying if they fixed it to Hollywood or what, but I mean, I don't know. It's just the fact that, like, the one to bring it all full circle.
It would have been funny. It would have been funny.
What?
If it was another O. So it was just Hollywood.
Honestly, I think that's almost even better. It's even.
I think it's better too. Honestly,
either that or like an exclamation point. Hollywood.
Right. Woo.
Hollywood. Okay. Anyway, let's see. So we have Todd and Bojack. They're basically the image we had before us here. They're kind of enjoying the fireworks.
Trust me, folks. I would have used the image of Diane and Bojack at the end, but that one is just kind of like it's got this weird frame, and I couldn't have put the banner. So
yeah.
Anyways.
But this is a charming image, though. I just love these two guys.
It is. Crazy, yeah.
These two crazy kids hanging out together again after all this time, and just like
hanging out down the street, the same old kids you seen last week.
Yeah. And I love that dude Todd just kind of framing things for Bojack. That if you fall off the wagon, then you'll just do it again. It's just a really optimistic view for Bojack. He brought him out of that party because he saw Bojack was getting anxious. So it was a nice little gesture. We had the Jason Lee. Oh god, Princess Caroline had some really great dialogue at this wedding too. It says she and Jude are working on 11 Angry Women. Room for a sequel. I love the Jason Lee's gag though. My two favorite Jason Lees.
Oh my god, yeah. Jennifer and Jason. Yeah, that's great.
It's funny.
A lot of good wordplay through this season with Princess Caroline.
So speaking of Princess Caroline, so Bojack and Princess Caroline, they have a little kind of chat while they're dancing at the wedding. Would you care to weigh in on that?
Yeah, I don't know. I really like how at the end of the day, when all is said and done, they kind of acknowledge that they were really good for each other, but they also acknowledge the toxicity, and it's a complicated relationship, Princess Caroline and Bojack, but at the same time, it's still one that's Dragon. I feel like I'm saying the same things that we could say about Diane too. It's just, with Princess Caroline and Bojack, my favorite line with Princess Caroline, I think you can guess what it is when Bojack, he's still kind of got his head in the clouds about the star, being a star and, having project. And he's like, do you think you could represent me when I get out? And, I love her line of like, I could recommend some excellent people.
That's great. She's keeping her distance, but she's still there for him. It's really great. But I think the thing I really picked up on is that I think Bojack, with this bit, with again the whole Horny Unicorn thing still coming out, and the fact that again Bojack he completely forgot about it. There is something is still going to be tying him to Hollywood going forward. So they say it's going to be a big determination of a show we're never going to see of like, will Bojack backslide? And Princess Caroline, unfortunately, she kind of put that into play yet again.
The Horny Unicorn is like Bojack's honey boy.
That'd be interesting. It's an excellent way of looking at that. That's what I'm saying. It's just this really great. Like again, he has yet again the addiction of Hollywood looms with Horny Unicorn. Where he's like thinking about going.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Going back into like theater and pretend like teaching on his own kind of like not at a college because they probably would never have him. But you know what I mean, like kind of like teaching on a smaller scale or something.
Like and Kaminsky style, private practice.
Yeah, Kaminsky.
Yeah.
So of course, looking at it,
Princess Caroline style, just to not leave that show out in the cold because I think it's a better show than Kaminsky.
Sure, but I mean, let's face it, Bojack's no Gene Cousineau, though. Let's be honest.
Well, yeah, sure. And Kaminsky's no Gene Cousineau either.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's only one Gene Cousineau.
Right.
Okay. Anyway, so my point is, so you take these two characters who are kind of end the series on with the Prince Carol and you have Diane, where you have they both represent kind of fame and depression, fame in Prince Carolyn's case, and depression in Diane's case, and the continuing cycle of such. And again, they're both kind of everyone's getting a happy ending, and Bojack's kind of left in kind of the bittersweet category, where his ending is in the direct. He's both kind of equally happy, but also equally at risk of kind of recoiling back to the way he was. And it all hinges on the scene with Diane on the rooftop, which we should get to. So,
yes, this is a brilliant final scene. I think this is like up there with like The Sopranos. And by the way, I haven't watched all of The Sopranos, but I know the context of the final scene, and just artistically, I think it is a brilliant choice. That's all I'll say about that. And so I love the ambiguity, and I really do think that this kind of reminds me of that, just kind of like the slow looming shot of like, the awkward silence between the two of them. The fact that the camera's a little bit off kilter. The framing is a little bit, like they're very much framed towards the bottom of like everything about it. The song is just fucking wonderful. God. And just the two sentiments, Dragon, the two sentiments that I absolutely love. And this is what I'm talking about. All right, like all jokes aside about middle age and everything, this is what I'm talking about like words to live by moving into my 30s, okay? Two things in particular, two life lessons that I can safely say I fucking picked up from Bojack Horseman that will stick with me, Dragon. Number one, there are people that are going to be a part of your life and going to be a positive part of your life, but they won't stick around forever, and that's okay. Dragon, that's something that I've been trying to grasp for a long time, and I feel like now that I am older, I can finally sort of like be at peace with that, be at peace with like, it's not about trying to find like the end all be all of friendship. It's about just, being the best person you can be for people when they are in your life. And number two, Dragon, I really love the profoundness of the, forgive me, I don't know exactly what the last line is. This could be the last line. It's close to being the last line of, like life's a bitch and then you die. Sometimes life's a bitch and then you keep living. Oh God. So beautiful, Dragon. It's basically, it's like you just kind of have to live with the hills and valleys, and that's it's just what life is, and it's just a universal experience. It's profound, Dragon. That's all I got to say. I could go off on a tangent here.
Right. You might want to switch to the main image and get that all set up.
You got it, Buckaroo.
Okay, so let me weigh in on this. So, yeah, rooftop scene, man. I love these two characters. Again, since the beginning, they've always been really paralleled towards each other, and they've both been on kind of a unilateral journey. They've both been very tethered at the kind of the waist to an extent, where the two of them are linked by sadness to a large extent. They've both been kind of reconciling that through the course of the series. And I got to tell you, this scene, I really do sympathize with Diane's position in this scene, where when she got that phone call from Bojack, and basically
that was powerful too.
In that moment where basically it's like, if she thought Bojack had died, that would have been on her for not answering. That really threw her off for a while, and she had to she moved past, and she's in a better place now. After if she's engaged or whatnot, but after if she's already married, she's going to be engaged or
engaged. She's engaged,
right? That's the thing. So she had the ring, so yes, engaged. So yeah. The point being, she's on a better path, and she eventually went to Houston. All that's going great for her. And again, Diane kind of parallels Bojack's potential outlook, because in that case, like, she's not married yet. Things are looking good for her, though. Bojack could be a similar thing, but again, the Hollywood, like a siren's call, is kind of still in the back end there. But they're both still flawed characters, but they're on the mend. And
another sentiment with Diane that I love is I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but I love the whole I don't trust my happiness, but I trust Guy.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah,
I love the thank you bit. I love the bit where it's like, Bojack makes the point that this could be the last time we ever talk to her. He's not saying that I'm planning anything, mind you, but he says, again, like if she's going to Houston, of course, like she's trying to cut ties from Bojack as well. Like they hadn't really, reached out to each other in the year and change. They're, it's kind of like she says, thank you for everything. You whether you're damaged or not, you made me, you kind of brought me to this place I'm at
good
now.
Damage, so. Good damage.
Kensuke. But but yeah, seriously, yes. But seriously, that thank you. I just love the delivery on kind of that last thank you to Bojack. So whatever happens, good or bad to Bojack, she would have gotten it all out. She would have said her piece to him. It gives her that prison story, which is quite funny about the pieces of April and all that. All that stuff. So basically, we're living in uncertainty with the ending, which feels right. It's definitely it's every definition of bittersweet because it doesn't feel like it's final.
It's not a horse walks into a bar, which I do think would have been the perfect ending, but
well, horse walks into a bar would have been like, and he's walking into a bar, so it's pretty definitive that things aren't going well for Bojack in that case. But that's the thing, though. It's that we're living more uncertainty. Where again, it's not all written.
You're right.
Again,
you're right.
It's like you said. It's the peaks and valleys. It's going to be the continuing peaks and valleys. Where again, it's like that's what life is. It's going to be ups. There's going to be downs. He could fall off the wagon. Maybe he's going to go back on. It's like the idea that it could still be the endless cycle that we saw in the 6 seasons already. But now he's in
what's the theme song to the facts of life? You take the good, you take the bad, something like that.
Yeah, take the good, you take the yeah. But so I guess final thoughts then.
Yeah, final thoughts, Dragon. This show is just, man, it's profound. I mean, it really is. It's one of the most gorgeously well put together animated shows of all time. I would even maybe say it's probably better than Gravity Falls. Those are fighting words for me, but like honestly, just in terms of like a narrative arc and everything, like. Don't get me wrong, Gravity Falls is great, and Gravity Falls is pretty much perfect in doing exactly what it wanted to do. But man, this is just so ambitious with its storytelling and its characterization, and it pulls everything off so well. And it's important, Dragon. This show just raises such important issues, and for people like me who see a lot of themselves and a lot of their character flaws in Bojack, it's a very profound, very moving, very sobering experience. And man, I can't say enough good things about it. I really can't. It's forget Birthday Dad, Dragon. This show is Pulitzer worthy.
Yes. I think you mean Nobel Prize, or do you mean actual Pulitzer?
That's Nobel Prize. Yeah, right. I'm sorry.
All right. Anyway, but so yeah, final thoughts for me on the season itself. It's quite a last ride for Bojack. It's nicely plotted yet different than the first half. Again, both seasons. I think both halves are really good, though. I mean, again, obviously this one, like, where this half. Again,
I do think both halves really do hold up as like one whole. I really do think so.
They do. It's kind of an economized. I mean, the kind of example I have of the Reddit, I guess, would be a little bit of like first half, a little bit of Infinity War. This half definitely some Endgame, and that we're keeping the momentum going. It just keeps going for the second.
Right.
But in the series as a whole, Bojack, the series is as real as a show can get, while still being about an anthropomorphic ex-sitcom act. That's the best way I could put Bojack Horseman as a series. It's as real as it's going to get, with as ridiculous kind of as kind of a visual premise as you're going to get. But again, it's taking like something that's a pun, really, horsing around. But again, it had added dramatic stakes to it. I mean, Will Arnett, he was tremendous.
The show long ago was pitched to me by a friend is like, hey, it's basically like, what if Bob Saget was a horse?
Exactly. That's essentially what this is. It added all the dramatic context that you could get from that. And again, I think Will Arnett does a phenomenal job in this series. Again, his arc as a character, and that was the reason I stuck around. I'm so glad, because again, apparently as per the plan, the whole time, because the creator's gone on record and saying like that. The way it was aired, again, those first 6 episodes, I guess, the first 6 episodes were 5 or 6 episodes. They were intended to lull you into a false sense of security. Then things are going to get real and go onward from that point. Then you're going to.
I don't know about that. I don't know.
I mean,
those first 6 episodes.
I'm just saying he literally said that. That's literally what his plan was. I mean, that's like directly like those first.
I know, but I'm just saying those first 6 episodes, they really do feel like the show just kind of struggling to find its footing.
Now, mind you, he has gone on record saying that in retrospect it was kind of a mistake on his part. So take it for what you will.
Sure.
Point being, though, is just the fact that there was a plan going forward. Like, okay, the show is going to get to this place that we're lauding it for now, and I think that definitely shows at the end of the day, like the arc on this character is the most remarkable quality that kind of kept me even in the beginning, where you had this kind of very kind of honest and like this honest ex sitcom actor in a really unrealistic kind of setting and design. I always had to fight against. I mean, am I at the end of the day, am I ever like going to be fully like Bojack Horseman? I'm head over heels for. But it's something I can talk to my like I have a few friends who watch Bojack Horseman. Or he and I are going to be geeking out like, oh god, remember when they did that and all this story stuff? I'm like, yeah, this is this was great. Again, dramatically, the story is fantastic. It's quite funny in a lot of places. There's everything. There's a subjective element of the series, absolutely, but it's definitely worth its merit. It's definitely worth its merit, and the presentation was quite good. It was the show just kept getting better and better as it went along, and had a grand plan with it towards the very end. So it was quite nice.
All right, and Dragon, just to round out this podcast, I just want to remind everyone that we are not affiliated with the good people at Xerox, but man, aren't they great?
Xerox, that's a name that speaks quality, my friend.
I mean, Xerox is just like, I think every house should have a Xerox, Dragon. Xerox around the world. God bless Xerox.